encourage you all to squeeze forward. I might bite, but I promise the rest of the speakers won't. Good morning. My name is John Hoekstra, and I'm the Executive Director of the Mountains to Sound Greenway Trust, and I want to thank you for coming here today for the grand opening of the Middle Fork Road. In a few minutes, we're going to cut a ribbon on a new road, but what we're really here to celebrate is the opening up of an entire valley for our whole community. More than a smooth ride, it means safe and family-friendly access to all of the outdoor recreation opportunities that there are to be found in this breathtakingly beautiful valley. It's fitting that we're here to celebrate this opening on National Public Lands Day. Elsewhere in the country, our public lands are under siege by some who would roll back protections, relax regulations, or in some cases even sell off public lands, trading in the long-term benefits and the widespread value that our public lands provide for some short-term gains. But here in the here in the Mountains to Sound Greenway, we do things differently. Here, public officials and government agencies work in cooperation with each other and in partnership with nonprofits, community volunteers, and local businesses to invest in our public lands. To make sure that our public lands will always be an integral and valued part of our community. Because when we're connected to nature, our lives are better. Today's grand opening of the Middle Fork Road and the spectacular valley behind us is an inspiring demonstration of what we can accomplish when we work in collaboration with each other and encourage public-private partnerships. For more than 20 years now, a broad coalition of individuals, organizations, and agencies have worked together to transform a once fragmented and neglected valley into a crown jewel of public lands that defines our local identity and enriches our quality of life. Right now, at this moment, there are more than 150 volunteers up in the valley giving back by planting trees, improving some of the well-loved trails that this valley has to offer. And as more and more people come to explore the Middle Fork on the new road, the Middle Fork Coalition will continue to safeguard the ecological health of the forests and streams while enhancing safe, sustainable recreation opportunities.
A couple years ago, that a bunch of us folks here today, were out here driving along and got to put up the sign for the expansion of the Alpine Lakes Wilderness, which is very exciting, but also to just see all the work that was happening out there to put this together to provide access. Because I tell everyone that I represent the most beautiful district in the country. I know all of you understand why, and you may have some other Washington State districts you might support too, but this is a beautiful area, and one reason it's so beautiful is because of our incredible public lands. But people need to be able to get out here and experience our lands and get out on the trails, and people don't have that ability to come out and experience and participate in our beautiful areas. They may not be strong advocates or able to support it, and that's why access is so important, and people's ability to get there, and having a road and a path has meant a lot to this region, and will in terms of people's ability to see how lucky we are to have spaces like this. As someone said, there's nothing better than a groundbreaking than a ribbon cutting, because that means we actually got it done. So thank you, and really, after today, I know all of you will, but remind other people the incredible opportunities out there, and have them, and encourage everyone to come out here and see our beautiful spaces right here in this area. So thank you.
Hi, I'll be very brief. I am very fortunate to work for an organization that our mission is to provide access to federal lands, and such as a road project just like this. As I understand, and you guys know more than me because you lived it, and I haven't been involved in this project as long as you all have, but that it was a pretty bad road. It was pretty bumpy, and it was a lot of drainage and safety issues, and it was hard to get there, and it's the only motorized access to the valley. Thank you to my project staff. Craig Sanders is our construction operations engineer. You mentioned Mike Trabalis, and of course Mike Meany, who was unflagging in his work out here.
Good morning, everyone, and happy Public Lands Day. I am just thrilled to be out here and celebrate today. I took an opportunity to look up last year's National Public Lands Day, and there were over 200,000 volunteers and people celebrating Public Lands Day last year in 2,600 sites. And I feel that this is a wonderful opportunity for me to be a part of this with you all. I'm sure there'll be as many, if not more, this year.
About 4 years ago, before I worked for the Department of Natural Resources, my wife, who was pregnant at the time, and myself and another couple, we decided we were going to do a weekend backpacking trip. And we only had one night, and we decided to head out to Snoqualmie Lake for the night. I forgot to mention that other couple had a 9-month-old. I was a little nervous about our new plan. It wasn't because the kind of physical limitations of our group. I felt like we could overcome that. It wasn't for spending a night in the woods with a 9-month-old who'd never been camping. It was this road, this terrible, terrible road that we all became accustomed to. I also wasn't worried about my car. It was that I was certain that one of those potholes would be the one that would throw my life into labor. And as an expectant father, I would be expected to now deliver my child in the middle of the road. I was terrified about this. So as I drove along and vigilantly stared down each and every one of those potholes, I wondered to myself, can't somebody do something? And my first time out in the woods with the department, with Doug McClellan, wherever he's at, was in the Middle Fork area. And he gave me a good lesson that for decades, many people had been doing something. And this is the culmination of a lot of that work.
I want to just talk a minute about two things, and it's basically about how dysfunctional we aren't. We think a lot about how we don't do well in politics and how we don't do well in government, but we come and see things like this and we realize that as a community, it isn't just what's in it for me, it's what's in it for the community. That we do work together to make things happen that make this a better place to live. And it's all about partnership. And one of the names that I want to make sure that we remember is Jim Ellis. I don't know how many of you remember Jim Ellis. Jim was one of the people who made the Greenway happen. And I remember when Jim came to our council, I was a city council person at the time, and told us about this idea of the Mountains to Sound Greenway. And we sort of sat back in our swivel chairs and said, yeah, Jim, yeah, that's not going to happen. But we signed on, and others signed on, and now, how many years later, 40 years later, we are starting to see wonderful things occur.
We're probably the most fortunate group up here because we adjoin this beautiful recreation valley, and I wanted to share our appreciation and our excitement for the future. In North Bend, we're a small, livable town that also is focused on being the premier outdoor destination for the future. And we're really growing more and more aware of how important the land around us is for why we all love living here in the Middle Fork. I did want to share, we are currently working with Jones & Jones, pretty popular Northwest architect that helped us here in the Greenway. And we, the city, are working with them right now to come up with a more kind of aesthetic sense of arrival when you get off exit 34. So,
1, 2, 3.
Mark has something.
Before y'all go, so years ago, talking with Mike Travalis over and over about how we're going to get this thing done, I made this commitment that when the time comes to the ribbon cutting, I was going to bring up a good bottle of wine and we're going to toast this thing. There's too many people with badges around to do that. So I've got a couple. I found this beer, rambling around beer. Where's Mike? There we go. And so we'll listen to this. Did you guys ever learn about sharing? Killing me. Like, all
right, are we done?
All right. How about one with the arms up? All right.